Hello everyone. In this session, I'll talk about VIQC Challenge 2021 to 2022 season game Pitching In. Firstly, let me introduce how to play VIQC Challenge. In my previous session, we learned there are different ways to play VIQC Challenge. We have Teamwork Challenge, an alliance of two robots operating under driver's control, working together in each match. We also have Robot Skills Challenge. One robot attempts to score as many points as possible. Robot Skills Challenge consists of driving skills matches, which will be entirely driver control, and programming skills matches, which will be autonomous with limited human interaction. Starting from the last season, we also launched a new format, Live Remote Tournament, an alliance of two robots, each operating on their own field under driver control, working together over a live video connection. Firstly, let's talk about Teamwork Challenge. Each match lasts 60 seconds. Two robots form one alliance, working together to maximize their score in each match. Each team has one robot under the driver's control. There are two drivers per team, and they must switch the controller between 25 seconds and 35 seconds remaining in the match. Teamwork Challenge consists of qualifying matches and finals. Both teams will get the same points. In the qualifying match of Teamwork Challenge, the alliances are randomly assigned by software with a certain competing schedule. The qualifying matches will occur according to the official match schedule. This schedule will show alliance partners' qualification match time, and if the event has multiple fields, which field the qualifying match will be played on. In qualifying matches, teams are ranked by their average qualifying match scores. However, a certain number of teams' lowest qualifying skills will be excluded from the ranking, based on the number of qualifying matches each team plays. Please see this chart. If teams play 4 to 7 matches, one lowest score will be excluded. If they play 8 to 11, two scores will be excluded. 12 to 15, three scores will be excluded. 16 to more, four scores will be excluded. Also, in some cases, a team will be asked to play an additional qualifying match. The extra match will not impact the team's ranking. Let's see the picture on right. In the match schedule, if a team number is marked with a enter risk, this is the extra match. In Teamwork Challenge finals, the final match alliances are assigned based on the qualifying ranking. The first and the second ranked teams form one alliance. The third and the fourth ranked teams form alliance, and so on. Final matches are played sequentially, starting with the lowest ranked alliance. Each alliance will participate in one finals match. The alliance with the highest finals match score is the Teamwork Challenge champion. The next part is Robot Skills Challenge. The programming skills match is an autonomous period. It will last 60 seconds long. The driving skills match is driver-controlled period. It also will last 60 seconds long, and the two drivers must switch their controller between 35 seconds to 25 seconds. There's only one robot on the field. There's no skills match schedule. Teams will play on a first-come, first-served basis. For each skills match, the field will be set up exactly the same as standard VIQC pitching match. Each team will get the opportunity to play exactly 3 driving skills matches and 3 programming skills matches. At an event, teams will be ranked based on the sum of their highest programming skills match score and highest driving skills match score. For the global ranking, we will follow the following criteria. A. Highest robot skill score. That's a combined programming and driving skill score from a single event. B. Highest programming skills match score. C. Highest driving skills match score. D. Earliest posting of the highest programming score. This means the first team to post a score ranked ahead of the other teams, then post the same score at a later time. E. Earliest posting of the highest driving skill score. Robot Skills Challenge has 3 different options. The first one is Robot Skills Challenge at a standard qualifying tournament. The second option is a in-person skills-only event. The third option is live remote skills-only event. It is LRS in short. Now let's talk about live remote tournament, LRT. In an LRT, VIQC Teamwork Challenge is played by an alliance composed of 2 teams operating under driver control. Each team competes on a separate field. This means there are 2 robots, 2 teams, and 2 fields in each match. LRT will be played through live remote tournament interface. You can see this picture. The LRT lasts 60 seconds long. Both teams will get the same points. The 2 drivers per team must switch controller between 35 seconds to 25 seconds. LRT also consists of qualifying matches and finals. Okay, now, after we know how to play VIQC Challenge, let's see this new season game video, Pitching In.
Welcome to the 2021-2022 game VIQC Challenge Pitching In. VIQC Challenge Pitching In is played on a 6-foot by 8-foot field. Robots and game objects start on the field in predetermined positions. Robots may cross freely from one side of the field to the other by fitting under the low bar. The scoring objects in VIQC Challenge Pitching In are balls with a diameter of just under 3 inches or 76 millimeters, and there are a total of 22 balls on the field. The object of the game is to score as many points as possible. Points can be scored in a few different ways. Each ball scored inside the low goal is worth 2 points. Robots can also launch balls into the high goal for 6 points. And teams can earn 2 additional 5-point bonuses by clearing the balls from each starting corral. But that's not all. At the end of the match, robots will race to climb the hanging bars in the center of the field. A robot that is completely off the ground will be considered low-hanging and will receive 6 points. A robot that lifts itself completely above the low bar will be considered high-hanging and will receive 10 points. Teams will have to experiment with different ways to keep their robot small enough to fit under the low bar while also being able to score balls and climb. There are 3 ways to play VIQC Challenge Pitching In. First, 2 teams will collaborate in 60-second teamwork challenge matches, working together to maximize their score. Both teams will receive the same points. Each of these teams consists of 2 drivers and 1 robot. One driver will operate the robot for the first half of the match, and the other driver will operate it for the second half. Second, each team will have the opportunity to play driving skills challenge matches. In these matches, teams have 60 seconds of driver control time to score as many points as possible. Third, each team will also have the opportunity to play programming skills challenge matches in which they have 60 seconds of autonomous robot operation to score points. No drivers allowed. The scores for driving and programming skills challenges will be combined to determine the Robot Skills Challenge champion. Plus, all 3 gameplay styles have remote options for teams who want to compete from home. Check out the game manual or talk to your REC Foundation Regional Support Manager for all the details. For official game rules and robot requirements for VIQC Challenge Pitching In, please see the VIQC Challenge Game Manual found at roboticseducation.org and VIQC.com. To register a team, find events near you, or ask a question on the official Q&A, please visit robotevents.com. Good luck and have a great season.
This is a pitching infield setup. Each pitching in match includes 22 balls. In a pitching in match, there are 8 starting position options, 4 on each side. This is different to the past season. This also means teams may have multiple competing routes or strategies. There are 2 driver station options. Check with event partner which option will be used during an event. Let's talk about some game definitions. The first one is cleared. This is a starting corral status. A starting corral is considered cleared at the end of match if no balls are connecting the floor inside of the starting corral. Referees can check any balls in question by sliding a piece of paper between the ball and the floor. The picture on the left side is an example of a cleared starting corral because all balls are not in the starting corral. The picture on the right side is an example of a starting corral that would not be considered clear because there are balls still in contact with the floor inside the corral. Hanging, a robot status at the end of a match. Low hanging, a robot is low hanging if it is contacting one of the hanging bars, is not contacting the floor, and is not supported by any balls. Referees can check to see if a robot is low-hanging by sliding a piece of paper between the robot and the floor. High-hanging. A robot is high-hanging if it is contacting one of the hanging bars, is not supported by any balls, and is completely above the horizontal plane that is in line with the bottom edge of the lower hanging bar. Referees can check to see if a robot is high-hanging by sliding a VIQC part, which is 15 holes long, underneath it. Please note, a high-hanging robot does not also count as a low-hanging robot. Referees can check to see if a robot is supported by any balls by gently removing the ball in question. Let's see these 3 pictures. The first one. This robot would be considered high-hanging because it stays completely above the bottom edge of the lower hanging bar. The second. This robot would be considered low-hanging because it's not completely above the bottom edge of the lower hanging bar. The third picture. This robot would be considered low-hanging because it's contacting a hanging bar, it's not contacting the floor, and it's not supported by any balls. Hanging bar. One of the teal PVC pipes that run parallel to the starting corrals. The bottom edge of the highest set of hanging bars is 15.5 inches from the floor. The bottom edge of the lower set of hanging bar is 7.5 inches from the floor. Please note, the lowest set of teal PVC pipes, which define the low goal, are not considered hanging bars.
High goal.
The cube-shaped structure, built out of VIQC parts and clear plastic sheets, that is elevated in the center of the field. The support structure underneath the clear cube, with green and pink VIQC parts on each side, is not considered part of the high goal. Low goal. The area in the center of the field, surrounding the high goal structure. On 2 sides, the low goal is bound by clear plastic sheets. On the other 2 sides, The logo is bounded by the outer edge of the two PVC pipes and the VIQC parts attached to the floor. The plastic sheets, PVC pipes, and VIQC parts are considered parts of the logo. Scored. A ball status. A ball is considered scored at the end of a match if it is not touching a robot, if it is in one of the goals. The first point. The ball is partially or fully within the three-dimensional area defined by the infinite vertical projection of the logo, or the ball is above the bottom surface of the high goal, partially or fully within the three-dimensional area defined by the infinite vertical projection of the high goal. Please note, once a ball is considered scored in the high goal, it's no longer considered scored in the low goal. Starting corral. One of the two areas of the floor on each end of the field, each of which are bound by the field perimeter and outside of the solid blank line closest to the 6-inch edge of the field. The starting corral is defined as this portion of the floor, not the three-dimensional volume above it. Now we are coming to the scoring. Each cleared starting corral worth 5 points. Each ball in the low goal worth 2 points. Each ball in the high goal worth 6 points. Each robot low-hanging worth 6 points. Each high-hanging robot worth 10 points. So the highest score will be 2 cleared starting corral plus 2 high-hanging robots plus 22 balls in the high goal. It is equal to 162 points. Okay, this is the scoring and game definitions. Let's talk about game rules. G1. Treat everyone with respect. All students and adults associated with a team are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful and positive manner while participating in the VIQC challenge. This rule exists alongside the REC Foundation Code of Conduct. You can download the Code of Conduct from the REC website. G2. VIQC is a student-centered program. Adults may assist students in urgent situations. Adults may never work on or program a robot without the students on that team being present and actively practicing. This rule operates in tandem with the REC student-centered policy, which is available on the REC website. G3. Use common sense. The common sense always applies in the VIQC challenge. G4. Pre-match setup. At the beginning of a match, each robot must meet the following criteria. The first one, only be contacting the floor and or the field perimeter. It means the robot should not contacting any balls, other field elements, or other robots. The second point, fit within the 11 inches times 19 inches area, bounded by one of the starting positions. 3. Be no taller than 15 inches from the floor. This picture shows you the actual configuration. G5. Expansion is limited during a match. During the match, robots may not expand beyond the following restrictions. A. Horizontally, beyond a 11 inches times 19 inches area. B. Vertically, beyond 19 inches high. This is the same height as the top of the two T-shaped VIQC parts in the center of the field. The intent of testing compliance with this rule during inspection is to reduce the need of the judgment calls during the match. The 19 height restriction is not a virtual ceiling. For example, it is legal for a portion of the robot to extend beyond the T-shaped VIQC parts while hanging, so long as it never momentarily extends beyond 19 inches along the way. If a head referee is unsure of a robot compliance with this rule, they may request a field side height check for the configuration that was seen momentarily during the match. G6. The robot must represent the skills level of the team. Each team must include drivers, programmers, designers, and builders. No students may fulfill any of these roles for more than one VIQC challenge team in a given competition season. G8. Drivers switch controllers midway through the match. In a given match, only 2 drivers may be in the driver station per team. No driver shall operate a robot for more than 35 seconds. The 2 drivers must switch their controller between 25 seconds and 35 seconds remaining in the match. The second driver may not touch their team's control until the controller is passed to them. Once the controller is passed, the first driver may no longer touch their team's controls. G10. Hands out of the field. G11. Keep balls in the field. Balls that leave the field during a match will not be returned. The phrase leaving the field means that a ball is outside of the field perimeter and no longer in contact with the field elements, or balls, or robots. In the previous slide, we discussed G10, hands out of the field. Drivers are forbidden from making intentional contact with any field element, ball, or robot during a match. However, if a robot goes completely outside of the playing field, gets stuck, tips over, or other request assistance, the team drivers may retrieve and reset the robot. To do so, they must 1. Signal the referee by placing their VIQC controller on the ground or table if the field is elevated. 2. Remove any balls being controlled by the robot from the field. Here, the word of controlled means the robot was manipulating the ball and not simply touching it. For example, if the ball moves with the robot either vertically or while turning, then the robot is controlling the ball. 3. Place the robot back into a starting position, which does not have any balls in it. If no empty starting positions are available, then any balls in the starting position where the robot is being placed must be removed from the field. This rule is intended so teams can fix damaged robots or help to get their robot out of trouble. It is not intended for teams to use as part of a strategy to gain an advantage during a match. If a head referee determines that a team is strategically exploiting this rule, it must be disqualified from the match. That's my part of game rules. Let's now talk about robot rules to make sure the robots are legal for competing. Firstly, let's discuss about subsystems for one robot. Subsystem 1. Mobile robotic space, including wheels, tracks, or any other mechanism that allows the robot to navigate the majority of the flat playing field surface. For a stationary robot, The robotic space without wheels would be considered Subsystem 1. Subsystem 2, Power and Control System, that includes a VIQC legal battery, a VIQC control system, and associated smart motors for the mobile robotic space. Subsystem 3, Additional mechanism and associated smart motors that allow manipulation of balls or navigation of field obstacles. So, a minimum robot for use in any VIQC challenge event, including Skills Challenge, must consist of Subsystem 1 and 2. Thus, if you are swapping out an entire subsystem of each item 1 or 2, you have now created a second robot and are no longer legal. The other illegal circumstances are if a team changed one entire subsystem during an event, or if one team has two or more robots at one event, or if multiple teams use the same robot during a competition or season, or if a robot has passed inspection but later this robot is found to be in violation during a match, then this team will be disqualified from that match. Or 2. Robot must represent the skills level of the team. Or 3. Robots must pass inspection. Or 4. Only registered teams may compete in the VIQC challenge. Every robot must have at least one VIQC license plate, displayed with their VIQC challenge team number clearly on it. If teams would like to use an unofficial license plate, this plate must be the same length and height as the official license plate. They must not exceed the width of the official license plate. Unofficial license plates are considered non-functional decorations and must meet all the criteria. R5. Starting configuration. The robot must only be contacting the floor or the field perimeter. Fit within an 11 inches times 19 inches area, bounded by the starting positions, and no taller than 15 inches from the floor. R6. The match configuration will be inspected. Teams using more than one robot configuration at the beginning of the match must tell the inspectors and have the robot inspected in its largest configuration. A team may not have its robot inspected in one configuration and then place it in an uninspected configuration at the start of the match. Once the match begins, robots must not be capable of violating the 19th height limit. Software limitations are acceptable. R7. VIQC product line. Robots may be built only from the official robot components from the VIQC product line, unless otherwise specifically noted within these rules. Teams may not use packing wire, zip tie, modified IQ part, scoring object for their robot. However, teams can use hexbug VAX structures or VAX-Go structures. R8. Non-VIQC components. Robots are allowed to use the following additional non-VIQC components. A. Appropriate non-functional decorations, provided that these do not affect the robot performance in any significant way or affect the outcome of the match. B. Rubber bands that are identical in length and thickness to those included in the VIQC product line, like number 32 and number 64 brand. C. 1 of 8 inches metal shafts from the VIQC V5 product line. Or 10. Robots may use up to 6 VIQC smart motors. Please note, additional motors cannot be used on the robot, even the ones are not connected. Or 11. Batteries. The only allowable sources of electrical power for a VIQC Challenge robot is one VIQC robot battery or 6 AA batteries via the robot AA battery holder. Or 12. Robots may use up to 6 VIQC smart motors. Please note, additional motors cannot be used on the robot, even they are not connected. That is for the robot rules. Let's now talk about Robot Skills Challenge rules. RSC 1. Standard rules applies in most cases. All rules and scoring from previous sections applies to skills matches, unless otherwise specified. RSC 2. Skills field layout. For each skills match, the field will be set up exactly the same as a standard VIQC pitching-in match. RSC 5. Skills starting positions. During skills matches, robots must be placed in any of the 8 available starting positions on the field. RSC 7. Handling robots during a programming skills match. A team may handle their robot as many times as desired during a programming skills match. This is similar to handling robots during driving matches. Upon handling the robot, it must be immediately brought back to any legal starting position. Drivers may reset or adjust the robot as desired from this position, including pressing buttons on the robot brain or activating sensors. Any ball being controlled by the robot while being handled must be removed from the field. Any ball contacting the chosen starting position must be removed from the field for the remainder of the match. During a programming skills match, drivers may move freely around the field and are not restricted to the driver station when not handling their robot. But please note the rest of G8, which states that drivers are not allowed to use any communication devices during their match, still applies. An intent of this exception is to permit drivers who wish to stage robot handling during a programming skills match to do so without excessive running back and forth to the driver station. Please note, this rule only applies to programming skills matches. Driving skills matches are still governed by G17, especially for the strategic violations. RSC 8. Starting a programming skills match. Drivers must start a robot programming skills match routine by pressing a button on the robot brain or manually activating a sensor. To avoid any confusion, teams are advised not to bring controllers to programming skills matches. Okay, this is the robot rules part. Next part is live remote tournament rules. LRT3. In a live remote match, each field is set up with 22 balls as shown in this figure. Please do note, the starting position of the ball is different from the tournament. In this figure, the balls are marked. LRT4. At the beginning of a live remote match, the setup criteria listed in this rule still applies. However, only one robot from the alliance may start in each pair of the starting position options in Figure 22. One robot must start on the audience side, and one robot must start on the driver station side. This picture shows the legal and illegal starting positions. Lastly, I would like to show you some notes. This season, the VIQC Challenge game menu will have a series of major and minor updates. Each version is official and must be used in official VIQC events until the release of the next version, when the previous version becomes void. The next version will be released on June 29th. Okay, that's all for my VIQC session. Let's go to our Q&A session. If you do have more further questions after this webinar, please send us emails. Thank you.